Hello, a very good evening to you. Welcome to ITV News. This is Wednesday night's calendar.
Hello, thanks for choosing Calendar, and here are tonight's main stories.
Whirlpool handicap, they leave the stalls.
The going is hard. Warnings that Yorkshire's horse racing industry will be decimated, with hundreds of jobs lost by the government ramping up betting taxes.
If you walked into the city of York and you asked local businesses, small businesses, what the horse racing and the Ebor Festival brings, it's a huge, economic driver.
They're trying to compare betting on online casino games with people betting on horse racing. It's chalk and cheese.
Back on the picket line, 40 years on, former pit workers now employed at Wakefield's Mining Museum down tools in a row over pay.
Unfortunately, after a lot of trying, we've got no option.
You were on strike for a year back in 1984.
We was.
How long do you think this is going to last?
Well, tomorrow I hope.
Yeah, tomorrow.
If they come out now and say, will you come and talk to us? Yes, I will.
A long journey ahead of them. How the Wensleydale Heritage Railway has just trained up 3 new drivers, all of them aged 21.
And after a warm summer so far, a cooler couple of nights ahead. All the detail for the rest of the week a little later on.
Good evening. First to warnings that horse racing in Yorkshire could be decimated by a government tax hike on betting, costing the industry tens of millions of pounds and leaving hundreds of jobs at risk.
The Treasury insists it's simply levelling the playing field between punters having a flutter on the horses and others gambling in online casinos. But the British Horse Racing Authority predicts catastrophic and far-reaching consequences, from trainers and stable staff to those working in local pubs and restaurants.
Well, Lisa Adlam is live for us at York Racecourse, at one of the biggest events in the racing calendar. Good evening, Lisa. How are people feeling about all of this?
Well, as you say, Larry, yes, this is just the end of the first day of the Ebor Festival, one of the very biggest events in the racing calendar. And as ever, York has put on a wonderful day of racing for most people, for families, for regular racegoers, for those who are involved in the industry. It has been a day of excitement and enjoyment, but those tax proposals have never been far from many minds. It's been a subject of discussion. They believe that if the government presses ahead with what it wants to do, it could stack the odds against not just the sport, but against years of tradition.
Whirlpool handicap, they leave the stalls.
One of the most prestigious race meets nationally and internationally, York's Ebor Festival is a celebration of racing's long traditions and its community. But today there were concerns for that community over government plans to bring betting on the horses in line with online gambling, hiking taxes and potentially putting the squeeze on the sport of kings.
The year one impact would be, based on our analysis, around £66 million in that first year, and over 5 years around $330 million. But importantly to rural communities, around 2,700 jobs at risk right across the nation.
And right here in Yorkshire, with 9 racecourses, including York and Doncaster, it's estimated the tax rise would cost the economy £37 million in its first 5 years, with 342 jobs immediately hanging in the balance. Those whose careers depend on the sport say it would have a far wider impact.
There's a huge atmosphere to here today, and I think if you walked into the city of York and you asked local businesses, small businesses, what the horse racing and the Ebor Festival brings to the city of York during this week, it's a huge, economic driver.
We're going to lose our better horses to abroad. Anything that means less money into the racing means potentially less jobs. Less people that I can employ, less feed, less horses, less feed, less farrier, less vet, less people going to the pub when they come to visit their horses, and just the knock-on effect's massive.
Tight 6 to 5.
For the independent bookies who've made their living alongside the racetrack for decades, the government plans make little sense.
We've been in it since 1926, so we've been going a few years. And yes, I think it'll be a bit of a headache, this.
They're trying to compare betting on online casino games with people betting on horse racing. It's chalk and cheese, they're not even similar.
But the Treasury says the current gambling tax system is outdated and claims there are no plans to change the way bets made at the racecourse are taxed, something the racing fraternity refutes.
If the betting duties were harmonised with those duties applied to online casinos and games of chance, there would be a change in the rate, and it would be an upward change for horse racing.
In an unprecedented move, the entire industry will go on strike on September the 10th in an effort to get their message past the post in Westminster that any increase in tax is gambling on their future. Lisa Adlam, ITV News, York Racecourse.
Well, talking of strikes, 4 decades on from one of the biggest disputes in industrial history, workers have once more walked out of a Yorkshire pit today and onto the picket lines.
Yes, around 40 staff at the National Mining Museum near Wakefield downed tools in a dispute over pay. Many of them were ex-miners who did the same thing way back in the mid-80s. Martin Fisher has the story.
A Yorkshire pit and a picket line. Not the NUM on strike today, but members of the Unison Union. Many, though, are ex-miners who now work as guides down what was once Cap House Colliery. They want an improved pay offer and claim the museum can afford it.
I think it's so sorry how they're treating us. It's something that can be sorted over nothing. It can be sorted, even now they can go in and sort it and we can be back at work tomorrow.
They've been offered an increase of 80p per hour or 5% for all workers, whichever is the greater. But Unison claim a previous offer was higher, a claim disputed by management.
I would say that pay negotiations should be based on affordability. The museum made an operating surplus of £600,000 last year. They've got £10 million in reserves, 9.5 million is unrestricted. We've looked at the finances, we believe that it is affordable.
For those on the picket line today, though, memories of 1984.
Memories of being outside, yes, but it's not like 84, 85. You're against the government, and then this time you're not against as many people.
Back on the picket line, it's strange, but if we've got to do it, we've got to do it. And, you know, unfortunately, after a lot of trying, we've got no option.
You were on strike for a year back in 1984.
We was.
How long do you think this is going to last?
Well, tomorrow, I hope.
Yeah, tomorrow.
I mean, if they come out now and say, will you come and talk to us? Yes, I will.
A spokesperson for the National Coal Mining Museum said the current offer equates to a pay rise of over 6% for many and is higher than pay settlements in the public sector, including police, government, schools and other museums. They added, the increased offer was rejected by Unison. The union refused to share our revised offer with their members to see if they wish to accept it.
They're asking our members to go down a drift, make it safe. We've changed pipes in the shaft 140 metres deep. Your next step could be your last one. Electricians have done work in this museum that have cost them thousands of pounds if it were contracted out. And we're asking for a fair pay for the jobs that we're doing.
So for now at least, a Yorkshire colliery once more with pickets on its doorstep. Martin Fisher, ITV News, near Wakefield.
You're watching Wednesday's calendar. Thanks for being with us tonight. Still to come before 6:30.
I'm here with the sport, including the goals from last night's games in the Football League, and a man from Leeds wins a contract with the UFC.
And on the right track, we meet the young new recruit drivers keeping tradition alive at this heritage railway in North Yorkshire.
Some more of the day's news now, and a former Sheffield priest has been convicted of a catalogue of sexual offences against 9 women. Christopher Brain was the leader of the so-called 9 o'clock service in South Yorkshire for nearly a decade, up until 1995. Today, a jury found the 68-year-old guilty of 17 counts of indecent assault during the years he led the movement. It's still deliberating 4 counts of indecent assault and 1 count of rape against him.
Police are appealing for help to identify 14 people in connection with last summer's riots at Ayr Hills in Leeds. They've released these new images of people they want to speak with as they continue to investigate the disorder a year ago. So far, 79 arrests have been made, with more than 40 people charged with various offences.
Well, next to the new technology being used to save a very old tree, the major oak in Sherwood Forest.
The much-loved visitor attraction has certainly seen better days, and recent heatwaves have only made things worse.
Now conservationists are coming together to try to get to the root of the problem. Peter Byrne has the story.
Magnificent, majestic, but not in a good way. If the major oak was a patient, it would be on the critical list.
We're all pretty devastated. It's been in a state of decline now for quite a few years, but what we've discovered in the last 2 or 3 years is that the state and the condition of the root system is much worse than we ever expected.
For centuries, this giant of nature has held a fascination for visitors to Sherwood Forest in Nottinghamshire. According to folklore, Robin Hood used it as a hiding place, but it's been loved to death. Tourists trampling down the soil have turned it hard as concrete, starving the tree of water. The recent heat waves have made things even worse. Now, though, the major oak's getting a helping hand. One very thirsty tree is getting a well-earned drink.
So we've got these bags, these tree irrigation bags, which holds just over 1,000 litres. There's literally hundreds of little holes, slowly releasing the water into the ground, into the soil around the major oak.
It's just one of a number of steps staff are taking, including adding organic material to the soil and fitting special monitors to check how the tree's responding. Now, this looks like a bit of the major oak that's fallen down, doesn't it? But in fact, this is a younger oak tree that was growing elsewhere in the forest and has been chopped down and brought here and dumped here in the enclosure, so it will rot away, the nutrients will work their way into the soil and enrich its older cousin. Is the major oak going to die?
It will at some point, yeah, that is for sure. That is one of the guarantees
But
of
imminently?
life. We hope not. We really can't say at this moment in time whether or not it's ever going to come into leaf again. We hope so.
Over 1,000 years, it survived storms, high winds and fires. But the major oak now needs a minor miracle. Peter Byrne, ITV News, Sherwood Forest.
Now, up and down the country, teenagers and their parents are waiting anxiously for GCSE results, which are due out tomorrow morning. With details of a special live results programme, here's the ITV News Rundown team.
Hey, it's George.
And Cree from The Rundown. The new service for teens are brought to you by ITV News.
Join us tomorrow morning for a live results programme where we'll bring you the headlines of the day, as well as being joined by special guests who will answer your questions and help you navigate through what's next.
We'll be live across the ITV News and Rundown YouTube channels and TikTok accounts, as well as the ITV News website. Join us tomorrow from 8:50.
We'll see you there.
See you there.
See you then.
Yeah, and good luck to everyone who's waiting for those results.
Definitely.
A nervous time, isn't it? It's time for sport, though. Not a nervous time in sport. It's been busy.
Depends how you look at it.
Well, busy old day in York today with the racing.
Yeah.
But you're going to start with football first.
We'll start with football, yeah, and they always say, don't they, Lara, it's not how you start the race, it's how you finish it, but a few of our teams have come galloping out of the stalls this season.
Powering local sport in the community. Octopus Energy sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
Now, West Yorkshire's a pretty happy place when it comes to football right now. Leeds won their opening Premier League game of the season on Monday, and both Bradford and Huddersfield have made great starts in League One. The Bantams came from behind to beat Stockport last night. Now, after a poor first half showing, Will Swan put them level before the men in pink went ahead through promotion hero Anthony Sarcevic. However, it took a miraculous injury time save from Bradford keeper Sam Walker to preserve the 3 points. It looked like Huddersfield's game against Yorkshire rivals Doncaster was heading for a stalemate until Ben Wiles filed in for the Terriers with 12 minutes left. Joe Taylor then won what looked like a dubious penalty before picking himself up and securing a 2-0 win. Just the one goal settled Barnsley's game at Peterborough, and it came from the left boot of Caelan Vickers via a deflection. Barnsley on 10 points from their first 4 games. And after losing their opening 2, Mansfield have now won their last 3. Their latest victory came against Blackpool, both goals coming from corners, and both goals finished off by Jamie McDonnell. Now, after winning their first 3 League 2 matches, Chesterfield came back to earth with a bump. Armando Dobra scoring a consolation goal in a 4-1 defeat at Gillingham. But surprise package Harrogate maintained their unbeaten start in the league with a 1-0 win over Barrow. Now, as we've heard earlier in the programme, it's been the first day of the Ebor Festival up at York. The big race of the day was the Juddmonte International, the richest race of the 4-day festival, and it was won by the favourite Ombudsman. Now, the Rugby World Cup, Women's Rugby World Cup kicks off in just 2 days' time as hosts England take on the USA in front of over 40,000 fans up in Sunderland. Well, closer to home, York will stage 6 of the matches, the first this coming Saturday. It's hoped the tournament will help inspire many to give the sport a try. Nick Smith now reports.
World Cup fever has truly taken hold, with barely 48 hours to go until this country puts women's rugby centre of the global stage, for only the second time in 2 decades. With York picked as one of 8 host cities and the community stadium staging several group matches. For local clubs across the Callander region, like this one in Doncaster, it's a moment many of the players here have been relishing since England's bid was confirmed 3 years ago.
That we could hardly field a full team when I first started, and now we've got 2 full teams, which is just amazing, and our numbers are building every training session, so it's just really nice to see.
We've got the World Cup. It's very family focused as well, so I think a lot of women that might have thought, you know, maybe this is not for me, they're taking the kids to these games and they're thinking, actually, maybe I'll have a go at this, and it's something new, it's something fresh.
England top the world rankings, so have the added pressure of being tournament favourites as well as hosts. Fullback Ellie Kildun is current World Player of the Year and was born in Keighley. She says the team have a responsibility to be ambassadors for the game.
The opportunity for me and what excites me is to inspire people, and it doesn't just mean the next generation. It's, you know, people like yourselves, it's people that have played rugby before, people that have never played rugby, but the opportunity that we've got to inspire people to get involved in rugby for everything that it brings you is something that excites me, because we want to change the game for the rest of our careers and their careers going on in the years to come.
With games taking place up and down the country during the tournament, this stadium, the home of English rugby, will be the host of the bronze final and the grand final taking place on the 27th of September, with England's women hoping to claim their 3rd World Cup trophy and their 1st on home soil.
Those in charge of directing England's bid say the event will be the biggest ever celebration of women's rugby, and a lot of careful consideration went into picking the host cities.
Just how important was it to spread this tournament across all regions of England?
It was a goal right from the very beginning that we wanted to take this tournament around the country. It was really trying to make it as accessible as possible, so 95% of the population will be within a 2-hour travel time of a venue, so really accessible for people to go. There's still some tickets available for some of the matches, so your chance to see some of these amazing teams and powerful personalities playing in what is going to be some thrilling competition.
And as we kick off a month-long celebration of rugby, it all ends here at Twickenham at the end of September, and the chance for one of 16 teams to etch their name in history. Nick Smith, ITV News.
It's going to be an exciting few weeks, isn't it? Now, a mixed martial arts fighter from Leeds has become the first man from the city to earn a contract with the UFC. Louis Lee Scott claimed a third-round TKO win over his opponent at the Dana White Contender Series in Las Vegas in the early hours of this morning. And speaking to me just a little earlier, he says fighting in the UFC, well, that'll be a dream come true.
I've been working for this my whole life pretty much, and now I've got just to the start, to be honest. You know, it's a great achievement and everything, but that real hard work starts now. You know, I've worked for years to get to the bottom of the hardest ladder I'll ever climb, so it's good that I can, you know, take this all in and enjoy it for a day, but it's got to be straight back to work now.
Just before I go, Wakefield Trinity have been awarded a 48-0 win for last Sunday's Super League fixture against Salford that was called off. And that is all your sport.
Thank you very much, Chris. What did you want to be when you were a little boy and when you were thinking about growing up?
Oh, God, that's a question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Probably sportsman, yeah,
A
cricketer,
sportsman,
footballer, something like that.
OK, all right,
yeah,
thanks.
failed spectacularly.
The next best thing.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, yeah.
Well, lots of young boys dream of becoming a train driver. Did you?
No, not really, but I did love my electric train set, I have to say. But our next story proves dreams can come true for some.
Yeah, 3 young men who are just 21 years old have been trained to drive trains on the Wensleydale Railway. It's a heritage line which runs between Leyburn and Scruton. Amelia Beckett hopped on board to tell us more.
Love them or hate them, most of us will have had some experience with pacer trains. Built in the 80s, they were initially intended to be a short-term solution to a shortage of rolling stock, with a lifespan of around 20 years. That should have meant George was born long after they were taken out of service, and yet, at the age of 21, he's now driving them. He works on the Wensleydale Heritage Railway, where he began as a young volunteer and now gets to do the job he always wanted.
So yeah, how have you been finding this?
I'm loving it, to be fair. It's something I've always wanted to achieve, and at the age of 21, minimum age is something I like doing.
What was it that made you want to do this?
As a kid, my dad was into trains. I used to go out with him and all that, and obviously it's progressed from there, and here I am driving trains.
He's actually one of 3 new drivers who were all just 21 years old. Oliver is another, whose passion began in a very similar way.
My great-granddad was a station master for L&ER at Grantham Station during the war.
Oh wow, okay, so it's always something you've been around then?
Yeah, it's always been in my family, passed down through the generations.
So when you got this job then, how did you feel?
It was really good, yeah. Great fun, and be around my hobby basically.
Yeah, because not many people get to do that really, do they?
No, so quite good fun.
Yeah, and when people find out there's sort of 3 of you who are 21, what do they think?
They're always really surprised, because normally people think that you're starting the heritage line, you're there for years and years before anyone gets anywhere, but it's not always the case. If you're willing to put the hours in, the time, dedication, then you can do it quicker.
The Wensleydale Heritage Railway is a line with routes as far back as 1846. It was essential for both trade and passengers through the Dales until its decline in the 1960s. But in the 1990s, a group of preservationists were determined to not let the railway disappear for good.
Local enthusiasts, basically people from the local community, decided, you know, we don't want our railway to close, we want it to live, to carry on. So they set up a charitable trust, and then things developed from there. And then it was 2003 when we sort of officially opened as an actual preserved heritage railway.
And now you've got 3 new drivers, all just 21 years old.
I know, it's incredible, isn't it? And the timing was it was amazing, because they basically all qualified as drivers within about a 3-month space between about April and June this year. And it's exciting, and it's excellent to see the young people coming through the railway. It's, you know, they absolutely are the future of our sector and of society in general. And to see them coming through, it's very, very satisfying.
Satisfying as well for these 3 young men, who at the age of just 21 now have a long journey ahead of them. Amelia Beckett, ITV News, Leeming Bar.
Well done to them. Yeah, congratulations to them. Tickets, please.
No leaves on the track just at the moment.
No, but they are falling from the trees, if you notice, particularly with the strong winds over the last couple of days. We've been talking about signs of early autumn and early autumn or a false autumn, leaving the leaves changing colour, and you can also get leaf drop or branch drop. Early harvest, we've talked about that, ripening fruits early 3 or 4 weeks than we'd expect, of course due to the lack of rainfall, so the drought and the heat. I want to show you this photograph that was taken this morning at Farnhill Moor in North Yorkshire. A big thank you to Cheryl for sharing. It looks very autumnal. Of course, yes, it's the heat and of course the drought, but it can be also something to do with mites or bugs or moths in the leaves, taking the sap out of the leaves basically so it dries them up. But that in turn, all these parasites absolutely love the dry and warm weather. So the weather is to blame either way for things looking slightly earlier and autumnal. It did feel cooler as well today, still felt muggy yesterday. It has started to feel cooler as this air mass has started to just bring its way down in from the north along that fresh northeasterly, and that will make it feel cold by day and by night for the next 36 hours or so. Mentioned Bank Holiday Monday, there's still a lot to play for, but it's this area of low pressure that's currently Hurricane Erin that will have all the answers over the next few days. Here's the forecast.
A clear start makes way for a day of ancient discoveries. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire weather.
Yes, I think many of us would have liked a few more sunny spells around the region today. Many places got a little bit of a watering first thing this morning with some rain and drizzle pushing southwards. And then behind that, I did hope that it would be a little bit drier and brighter. Disappointingly cloudy, and that's the way things stay over the next few days. We're chasing those cloud amounts and the sunny spells in between. Fresh breeze continuing out towards the coast, but under the clearer skies by night in shelter from that breeze. It's going to be on the chilly side, certainly as we head through into tomorrow night. So this was the story today. The thicker cloud amounts pushing south and westwards, but still leaving, yes, some thinner cloud, but a fairly grey old story for many of us into the afternoon, with 1 or 2 pockets of brightness by the end of daylight hours. So overnight tonight, it's a similar story. Cloud coming and going, some clear spells, mostly dry. It will remain breezy to eastern fringes, an odd shower coming in off the North Sea. And then further west in shelter, that's where the temperatures are likely to dip into single figures. So a fresher feel for all as we head through into tomorrow morning. 5:55 and 8:23 are your sun times. So a fresher start tomorrow and a fresher day overall, particularly where we don't get any sunshine. The sunshine's most likely in the west for the morning and the east for the afternoon, but it is mostly dry. Temperatures just below the average, and those winds still coming down from a northerly quarter, not quite as gusty and blustery as they have been across the region today. And as we head towards the end of the week on Friday, a chilly night tomorrow night, a fresh start, mostly dry, variable amounts of cloud with temperatures around average, and we hope that's the way things will stay through the weekend.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire weather.
Hey, do I need to put the duvet back on then if it's cold?
Just a couple of nights, I think you'll notice it, yeah, for sure. But at this moment in time, Bank Holiday Monday looking a bit better than it did yesterday.
Oh, that's
great
good.
news.
Yeah. Thanks, Kerry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it from us. We'll see you again tomorrow night at 6. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Bye-bye.